I'm going to show you guys how I'm aligning my new Grizzly bandsaw. This is the G0513. Having a hard time getting both the T-slot in the table and the fence both aligned to the blade, so trying from scratch here. So you can see everything's loose. Here's the first thing I do. I put a nice 3/4 inch straight piece of plywood into the T-slot. Then I clamp that hard to the fence. So with that, everything here is loose. You can see the fence is totally loose. So this, first thing I do, with this guy clamped into the table, fence is clamped to the T-slot, clamp down the fence to the guide rail. And now we're going to tighten the guide rail. So what this should do is get our fence aligned parallel to that T-slot. I'm going to tighten this up and I'll come right back. Okay, so the next step here, we have the fence aligned to the T-slot. Now we're going to make sure that T-slot is aligned parallel to the blade so that whether I'm ripping on the fence or if I'm ripping using a sled in the T-slot, either way, I want that blade to track straight. So I've already gone through. I have my big 1-inch blade on there, which gives me the best measurement I can get off of here, and I have it tracking where I want it to track. So now I'm going to take this fence out of the way, and I'm going to try to align the table to the blade. So you can see the fence. And you eyeball straight down there. That's as aligned as you're going to get. So I can take this out of the way for now. Do it on this side. That is not parallel. So the ruler is right up on the blade. You can see the front of the ruler is closer to the fence than the back. If anything, perspective here should make the back look closer. Let's get in there really close and see. So you can see the ruler is touching the blade the entire width. And over here you can see we're in between a tooth. You're right there in the gullet. So this is what you're looking for a rough alignment. And we're really just going to bump the table until it looks good. We need to move this direction, put the ruler back. Move this direction some more, put the ruler back. Now this is starting to look pretty good. I think what I'm seeing here, I may have gone on just a little bit too far. I'm going to bump it back. Ruler still aligned to the blade in the gullet. There we go. That is really close to parallel. And after this, we're going to get out an indicator. This is about as close as I think I'm going to get it. I'm just watching my needle. So back and forth. Down to a couple thou over the width of the blade. See, I'm still touching there. I fall off, so I definitely have needle movement. Make sure you keep your, see that? Make sure you keep your miter gauge pushed ever so slightly to one side of the slot. This looks about as good as it's going to get, so I'm going to try to tighten this down without moving it. And this is what you want to see. There's really no movement of that needle. So we got really lucky when we snugged it down. I'm going to move the camera to get even a better view here. All right, we've got a better view. So I'm in a gullet right now. And there I go back to the back of the blade. So this is about as good as I've ever been, as within 2 thousandths. So that feels like my blade and my slot are aligned as well as they'll ever get. One final check. Since I didn't have the indicator on, let's check the fence one more time. Okay, here we go, checking the fence back to the slot. So I'm going to come out here. I'm just at about 25 to 26. So I can see I'm not perfect with my clamping method. It's about 4th thou already. And it's coming in this direction. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen up my fence. Keep it kind of snug, but just loose enough that it could move. And let's try bumping it ever so slightly and see if we can get some of that taken out. 30. Let's see if I can get that inside of 1 thou. There's about 4 thou. Ever so slightly. Down to about 3 thou. So I'm reaching back here. I'm just adjusting the guide rail just ever so slightly with my hand. Oh, that's probably way too much. So I went the other way. Now I gotta come back. So you can see this is still this way. So let's tap it back. Let's try that 40, see what we get there. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Slowly snug it down. See if I can snug it up without moving it. I think we're going to call that good for bandsaw work. Now let's do a couple of test cuts. Got a cheap piece of 1x pine here. I'm going to try to slice off 1/16 of an inch. I do love that foot brake. Looks like we peeled off a pretty consistent veneer. No dust collection hooked up yet. Peel off a couple more veneers here just for the video. As expected, it's slicing well. Cuts this pine like butter. And there you have it. Take your time to set up your bandsaw the first time right, and you'll be able to make nice, clean cuts. I'm guessing I could go even a little bit thinner than this, but I don't see the need for myself to ever cut a thinner veneer than a 1/16. I'm not trying to make cheap plywood. I'm trying to make furniture. So, a couple of key things here. The 1-inch blade really helps with alignment. Getting everything lined up helps. I will note that I'm going to come down to the bottom side real quick and look. I ended up not only having to use the 4 table to trunnion bolts to align, but I had to actually loosen my trunnion to frame bolts to get this to get final alignment where I needed it to. So I'll be posting a few more videos, but overall, now that the machine's set up, I'm starting to like it.